Oh, welcome, dear viewers. I'm just doing a little bit of reading. I realize that it's you, Moon. No one else would have done that. All right, we're doing a story time today. We're doing spooky real crime. You know, just for funsies. We're taking a little bit of a break from the Jeremy DeWitt stuff. I know a new video just came out. I know there was the video where he was in court and they were doing the whole thing. I got it. It's fine. We'll get to that eventually. We're just taking a quick break from that. Doing something a little slower, a little more chill, a little more low key. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be a super long stream, although I said that about Nasty Nathaniel, who's here in the stream today, and it ended up being 3 hours and 59 minutes. I did not give you all the satisfaction of the 4-hour stream, but I'm sure that will happen eventually. So, yeah. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to spell it. I saw what happened in the Discord. How's everyone doing? We'll probably discuss Jeremy DeWitt after this. Once I do the real stream. You know how I like to talk afterwards. Yeah. Shall we? I'm gassed. No, I'm just waiting for something big. I don't want to cover every tiny little thing that's happening. My role in all of this has always been to analyze what has already come out, and there's the stuff that's come out recently hasn't been, in my opinion, worth really overanalyzing. It's just, minor details that doesn't, I think, require my input. But we shall see. We shall see. Don't worry. It hasn't ended. My commentary on Jeremy DeWitt has not ended. Rod Sterling. I should do. You know what? I'm going to look into that. We're going to do that. All right. So, as always, this book is just a prop. I do want. You know what? I'm going to mention this book. This is Report of Working Group on Human Behavior Under Conditions of Military Service. It's published in 1951. And what's really fascinating about it is that it has restricted. I don't know if you can see it right there. Restricted stamped on every single page. This is a formerly classified book, and on it says this document has been declassified in accordance with Executive Order number 10501, which has been stamped all over it. And the reason I like this, I've owned this for a couple of years, and I was looking through it, and I remember having my discussion with Merb, where he falsely claimed that military bases cannot be restricted because restricted is no longer a classification of data. First of all, that's not true. Restricted is still a classification of nuclear data. Two, military bases don't fall under data, they're locations. And three, within the last couple of years, multiple people have been arrested. At least one has been charged for being on a restricted military installation and filming. So obviously he couldn't have been convicted of that if restricted military installations did not exist per his weird canons of construction and incorrect history of declassification. One of the incorrections he got was he used a executive order from 2008, when in fact this executive order, which declassified, removed restrict from most classification. I wanted to say schedule. That's not right. It removed the restriction or the restricted classification from most things, with the exception of, again, of nuclear data. It was 10501 as opposed to whatever he thought it was. So when you hear him say that I don't know what I'm talking about, just remember that he absolutely messed up on a topic I'm very familiar with. And better luck next time. All right. How much do you have to donate for me to swear? I've actually wondered about that. I think that's more of a Twitch thing. But speaking of Twitch, I'm thinking of trying to do some streaming on Twitch. Just to try it out. I wanted to play some video games. Certainly some police-themed things. But I didn't want to sort of fill my main channel, which is this one, with that. So I felt like Twitch would be a fun place to do that. That I might do on Twitch. because anyway, that's a good question. I'll have to get back to you on that. Shall we get into some story time, though? Let me get my story time voice. Ooh, Carl Tanzler. Ooh, let's talk about Carl Tanzler. Oh well, Gary, hold on. Before we do that, Gary. Yes, no. See, real quick, because military installations. I basically built this channel on filming military installations and videos on it. Their argument is you can film anything you can see with your eyes. That is not true, and they bring up, well, there's a court case that says the eyes cannot be trespassed. There is case law to support that, but a camera is not your eyeballs. It's not your eyeballs that are being trespassed. It is your camera. And also, if you read the case law about your eyes not being trespassed, it refers to the government's eyes not being able to be trespassed in regards to a search, I believe, in reference to the Fourth Amendment. So it's incorrect. Anyway, Moon, you got me. I'm going to say this slowly. You know what? I'm just going to pause. I know where you're going to do it because there's a delay. A, P, P, L, E. Apple. There's going to be a bit of a delay. I'm not going to wait for it. It'll show up. I know where this is going. All right. Carl Tanzler. Let's get back into it. Lived with a corpse for over 7 years. There it is. Bro, you said pee-pee. I can't. You guys are distracting me. How dare you? You're terrible people, all of you. Carl Tanzler. This is like the 5th time I've said this. I think it's the 3rd, actually. Carl Tanzler. There's number 4. Lived with a corpse for over 7 years before he was discovered. Let's read on. It's all a prop. I don't know why I do this. Oh, he's a bearded, glassed. He has glasses. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's a pretty intense face. They have a picture of him. In 1931, 56-year-old Carl Tanzler was working at a hospital in Florida. Florida? We know a guy from Florida. When he fell in love with a 22-year-old Cuban-American woman named Maria Elena Milagro de Hoyos. That's one heck of a name. When the couple met, de Hoyos was dying from tuberculosis, a terminal condition in the 1930s. Throughout the last year of her life, Tanzler reportedly showered the young woman with gifts and even purchased an expensive mausoleum when she passed. Good for him. I need to find myself an older person to buy me mausoleums. After her death, Tanzler visited de Hoyos' grave, singing Spanish love songs to her. He later claimed that her spirit encouraged him to remove her from the grave. Ooh. And take her home. Oh. So, one night in 1933, allegedly haunted by these ghostly requests, Tanzler carried de Hoyos back home in a wagon. Over the next 7+ years, Tanzler preserved the woman. He replaced her skin with silk and wax, stuffed her body with rags to keep its shape, and used perfumes to disguise the smell. It wasn't until 1940 when de Hoyo's sister Florinda stormed into his home with police in tow that the truth was discovered. Tanzler wasn't actually prosecuted because the statute of limitations on its initial crime had already lapsed. There you have it, folks. If you want to steal a body, just make sure it goes undiscovered until the statute of limitations is up. Shall we continue? I think so. Jasmine Richards. Oh, excuse me. Jasmine Richardson. Helped kill her family under the influence of a werewolf. In August of 2016, 22-year-old Jasmine Richards was set free from a Canadian prison 10 years after her and her ex-boyfriend's convictions. What for, you ask? Bear with me, I'll get to that, you impatient people. In 2006, then 12-year-old Richardson and her boyfriend, Jeremy Steinke, murdered Richardson's family, her parents and younger brother, in cold blood. The crimes took place in the Richardson family home in Medicine Hat, Alberta. Alberta, what are you doing? Medicine Hat? Okay. It's fine. It's 2016, right? Like, you've had plenty of time to not name it Medicine Hat. I digress. In the excuse me. In the months leading up to the murders, the preteen reportedly had made a quick transition from a bright and happy girl to dark and morbid. Authorities claim that this transition was a result of 23-year-old Steinke's influence. Steinke, in fact, believed himself to be a 300-year-old werewolf. I hope they got the help they needed. Yeah. Walla, don't you bring up Walla Walla, Washington. We're working on that. Oh, this is a heck of a story coming up. Who wants to hear about people eating people? It doesn't matter, we're going to tell it. I don't know how to pronounce Issei. We're going to call him Izzy. Issei Sagawa might be the world's most horrendous case of affluenza. Let's read on. In June 1981, Japanese citizen Issei Sagawa, again, Izzy's not his real name, I just don't know how to pronounce his real name, was caught in a Parisian park with 2 suitcases in his hands. Not unusual, but let's read on. Inside the suitcases were the remains of Renee Hartfeld. 3 days before he was caught, Sagawa had shot and killed Hartfeld and then spent the intervening time eating various parts of her body. For his crime, the affluent Sagawa spent 5 years in a psychiatric hospital, after which time he was able to check himself out and return to his native Japan. Now, this is 1981. This is relatively modern. You'd think that there would have been more punishment for murdering and eating a woman. Am I wrong? Does anyone else not agree with that? We're going to keep going. Over the 30 years since his crime, Sagawa has not only enjoyed freedom, he's become something of a minor celebrity, essentially crafting his own cottage industry. What? From his notorious reputation? Yes. Hello. My name is Sagawa. Would you like to buy a cottage? I killed a woman and ate her, which makes me the perfect person to sell one to you. What? We're going to keep going. Oh man. Yeah, he's built a little bit of an empire for himself. The Goodheart murders. Moving on. We're ripped from the reels of a horror movie. The Goodheart murders unfold as many horror tropes. I'm not sure that sentence made sense. I read it correctly. An idyllic family retreats to some secluded area for a few days of rest and relaxation, only to encounter a psychopath. In 1986, that exact scenario played out when the Robinson family took up summer residence in a cottage deep in the forest of the Blisswood Resort in Goodheart, Michigan. As the family settled in, an unknown assailant shot and killed patriarch Richard C. Robinson. It is Robinson. Weird. Before targeting the man's family. By the end of the night, Robinson's wife and his 4 children were also killed. A caretaker found the bodies 27 days later after neighbors reported a strange smell from the Now it says Robinson. Whoever wrote this, get your stuff together. Robinson cabin. While police suspected Robinson's business partner, Joe Scalero, of the crime, there was never enough evidence to convict him. Scalero took his own life several years later, still professing his innocence. Those involved believe the mysterious case to be solved, although investigators closed the file in 2018. This one wasn't that exciting compared to, a bunch of people died in the cabin. They were shot. Ooh, spooky. Like, the last one was a dude carrying a woman around in suitcases and eating her, right? I feel like those are at 2 different levels. Wrong? Right? This one's fun. I have read this one. Let me flip to a random page to maintain the illusion. Yeah, the robot did it. The Mary Morris murders were likely the work of one really incompetent hitman. Let's go on. In October 2000, 2 Texas women were murdered in a similar manner, within days of one another. Neither woman had any known enemies. In fact, both families reported that the women were loving, kind, and professional. One a nurse, the other a loan officer, living completely unconnected lives. They had only one thing in common. Both women were named Mary Morris. Ooh. Police found both Mary Henderson Morris, 48, and Mary McGinnis Morris, 39, dead in their cars. An investigation into the matter turned up no evidence, and both cases remain unsolved. The prevailing theory is that Mike Morris, husband of Mary McGinnis Morris, hired a hitman to kill his wife. Unfortunately, the assailant made a mistake and targeted the wrong Mary Morris first. That's a fun one. I mean, it's not murder, not fun, but what a great story. Oh, here's a fun sounding one. I don't know. I haven't read most of these. I wanted to be surprised along with you. But this one has a fun title. The Murderous Axeman of New Orleans, or New Orleans, or New Orleans. Some people get mad when I say New Orleans. Come on. I'm going to say New Orleans, just for fun, just to make some people angry. The Murderous Axeman of New Orleans really had a fondness for jazz. We're going to do it in a voice. The whole thing's been done in a voice. We're going to change it up. Fans of American Horror Story. No, we're not going to do it. It's more New York. All right. I don't know what a New Orleans accent is. We're just going to keep doing it how we've been doing it. I make this up as I go, folks. I do very little prep for this, as I'm sure you can tell. Fans of American Horror Story are likely familiar with the legend of the Axeman of New Orleans, America's own Jack the Ripper. There are a lot of people who have claimed that. I don't know if... There are a lot of people like, oh, it's America's Jack the Ripper. Okay, let's calm down. Over the course of a decade between 1911 and 1919, a mysterious drifter attacked and murdered several people, a lot of whom were Italian grocers. Weird. With no other apparent motive than carnage and possibly racism. Those darn Italians. At one point, the killer even sent a mocking letter to newspapers claiming that he would spare anyone in New Orleans who played jazz. As mysteriously as the Axeman appeared, though he was gone, disappearing into myth in 1919 after the murder of a grocer named Mike Pepitone. Oddly, 1 year later, a man named Joseph Mumphrey was shot to death near Pepitone's window. While no evidence linked Mumphrey to the other Axeman murders, lots of circumstantial evidence pointed in his direction. Jacques the Ripper, because it's New Orleans. I like that. It's good. Good point. Good point. That is my Brooklyn accent, folks. You're right. It was. I did try. I just felt appropriate, and then I was like, no, this is absolutely wrong. What else? Bernie Tiede? Bernie. We're not going to say his last name. Forget about it. Right? Was the murderer people... All right. Bernie was the murderer people couldn't help but love. As of 2016, former mortician Bernie is in a Texas lockup for the 1996 murder of Marjorie Nugent, a well-to-do widow whom Bernie shot to death before hiding her body in her freezer for several months. Good place to hide a body. Perhaps the strangest bit of this history is that in the wake of the Nugent disappearance, no one seemed to care. Maybe they just didn't like her. I've met old people like that. Let me see. Oh, thanks to her reputation for being somewhat of a curmudgeon, her disappearance drew no concern. I was right. People didn't like her. Reportedly, Bernie was in a relationship with Nugent, who is 40 years older than him. Good for you, sir. I see you trying to get that widow money. When Bernie's crimes was eventually discovered, the small-town characters surrounding the mortician actively... Let me redo that one. When Bernie's crime was eventually discovered, the small-town characters surrounding the mortician actively fought against his incarceration, calling Bernie infallibly generous, possibly because he spent a lot of Nugent's $6 million fortune on various gifts to the town. How kind of him, killing a woman to spend her money on other people. Real Robin Hood, this guy. Few people could believe the sweet-natured man could possibly have committed such a crime, even after he confessed to the sweetheart scam. Intriguing. Oh, Jack Black portrayed him in a movie called Bernie in 2011. In case you want to know more about that, there you go. Ooh, that's what you guys want to hear about women being held captive. I'm going to read it whether or not you want it. Ariel Castro held 3 young women captive in his home for more than 10 years. It wasn't too long ago that the strange story of Ariel Castro made headlines. For more than a decade, the Cleveland bus driver held 3 women captive in his home. Gina DeJesus, Amanda Berry, and Michelle Knight went missing in the Cleveland area between 2002 and 2004. At the time of their abduction, the girls were 14, 16, and 21, respectively. Each was presumed dead until Berry staged a heroic escape from Castro's home in 2013. Berry managed to get out of the house on Seymour Avenue with her 6-year-old daughter, who Castro fathered. Ugh. She alerted authorities, which led to the rescue of her fellow captives. A demolition crew leveled the house in the same year of the women's rescue. And that, I think, folks, is where we end these tales. Good times. What do you got for me? Who do I have in my basement? You assume I even have a basement. Maybe I do. Dead air. Yeah. Gotta get that. Dead air. Undead. What's up, folks? Oh, I'm sorry. Do we want to see the vest? And just, oh, yeah, look at that. Look at it. It's so shiny. I got it for you guys. What do you get when you knock on Dahmer's door? I don't know, what do you guys want to talk about? This is the, by the way, anyone watching this after the fact, and for you guys watching it now, this is the end of story time. It has, I shut the book. It has concluded. This is where I just talk to my stream. So if you're like, wow, that's really boring, this part is designed to be enjoyed live. So catch my stream sometime. For the rest of you who are already here, thank you. You're right. I should get me my pipe. All right. See if I can do a pinky with the pipe. Doesn't really work. This, yes. Yes, ask me your Jeremy DeWitt questions. Bit of a delay. Just ask away. I'll get to them when I can. Heck yeah, Pacific Northwest. I'm glad you guys like this, by the way. I have a lot of fun doing this. And I like to keep doing this. This is kind of what I do when I have nothing else. I still want to, give you guys something. I know I haven't streamed in, 7 days? I just... Other parts of my life had to take priority. But I did give you the part 3 of the interview. I think I only have one part left of the Jeremy DeWitt interview. So, I hope that sort of bridged the gap. I should switch to Jeremy DeWitt. We were thinking of getting some dry ice put in here so that it actually, there's a little smoke coming out. I don't actually smoke. I don't use any tobacco products, and that's just me. I'm not going to stop any of you, but this is just a prop, as is all of this. But, yeah. No, actually, Steve, you're saying there are more Jeremy DeWitts out there than you think. In my Discord, this is the great time to advertise my Discord, I'm going to put a link out if I can figure out where my mouse is. That's good for 24 hours. And I generally only give this out in my streams, because I know you guys are like, if you're willing to join me in a stream, or at least watch the stream within 24 hours, you're invited. Come on down. So I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna paste that. By the time I say this, it's probably already pasted because the chat is farther ahead than the video because of the video delay. We have been discussing other police impersonators, and there are a lot of minor things where it's just like a kid, there's one that was a 14-year-old kid, right? Took his grandmother's car, something like that, had lights on it, and he was trying to respond to domestic, I think. Weird stuff. There are a lot that are just like one-off incidents, but there are a few people that have been brought to my attention that there's a lot. Like, for example, the Canada thing, the Canadian guy, killed a lot of people recently. This is one of the reasons why it's taken very seriously, police impersonators, is because it's very easy to get people to do things or be the victims of things when you are acting in a position of authority. So it's frustrating to see people impersonating a police officer. And I know Jeremy's not, he doesn't believe he's impersonating. He's like, I'm not a police officer. But the actions and the uniform put together, people are going to follow your orders, dude. And you're giving them orders, and they're following them. And that's where the crime is happening. Now, a person that came across my desk, I will say, not actually, but a person who popped in the Discord is the guy who runs Bone Tactical, Gregory Tambone, I think. And I don't think he's actually a police impersonator. There was talk about him being a Stolen Valor type guy where he impersonated a soldier. I can see no actual evidence of him claiming to be a soldier. Other people have made the mistake of assuming that he was a soldier, but I don't believe that he has himself claimed to have served in the American military. Now, he has claimed to have served as a private for hire mercenary, I guess, I think, or something similar. I don't want to say that for sure. I haven't really looked into all of his claims very hard, but there's some weird things on his channel. And speaking of weird things on his channel, there's a lot that I do want to address about him now that I've looked through him and figured out who he is he claims that the American government is out to get him, but his story doesn't really check out at all. He was convicted of aggravated assault, I believe, something like that, in 2005? I could have the date wrong. I don't have it in front of me, that's the problem. He shot a man, and his story doesn't match the police report, so I'm working on getting the police report. And then in 2016, he was convicted of sexual assault. The original charge was rape, and he's like, I was completely innocent, but he pled guilty to it, so not so sure that you were, bud. I even had a conversation with him on his YouTube channel, or whoever was running his YouTube channel at the time, and I brought that up, and they deleted our entire conversation. So obviously he has something to hide. I think it would be fun to discuss that. I don't know if you guys would be interested in me going after someone with 90,000 subscribers who are all gun-owning, Second Amendment-loving, red-blooded people who are most definitely going to threaten my life. Anyway. Bonehead Tactical. Yes, I want to look into that. And I've some of my subscribers, people in Discord, have helped me get some documents, which is incredibly useful. Thank you so much to them. But before I do this, I want to make sure that I'm correct. I want to get everything ready. This is going to be my new Jeremy DeWitt, probably. I don't think we're going to go into as much detail as Jeremy DeWitt, but I do want to call him out for lying to his subscribers. So, potentially. We don't know for sure yet. Well, I do know for sure that he is telling them some lies. But anyway. Ask me questions, folks. Give me Hit me with that nonsense in the chat. This part, I have no idea what I'm doing now. Not that I ever do. This is just us. What are we talking about? We're talking about Gregory Bonin, I believe his name is, the guy who runs the channel and company, Bone Tactical. And he was brought to my attention because there was a suspicion that he was committing stolen valor. I do not believe that is true. I think other people accidentally assumed that he was a soldier and there was an article published about him that he was a veteran. To my knowledge, he has never claimed to be a veteran. But while looking into him, I found some other very strange things about his past. So that I do want to discuss eventually when we get to it, once I have that story ready to go, once I've done all the research that I think is necessary. So when am I going to Florida? Once the lockdown is over, once everything's no longer shut down. So if I flew to Florida right now, I'm expected to then quarantine myself for 14 days before doing anything. I'm not going to spend 14 days in Florida. No, thank you. I don't have the time to spend 14 days doing nothing. So it would be not a great time right now to go. But I'd love to. I do want to get down there and check out the case. I'd love to get down there and view Jeremy in court and watch it for myself. Right? It's one of the things Jeremy says is, oh, we're only seeing edited videos. You're only seeing what they want you to see. All right, I'll go down and I'll see it for real. I'll do it. Absolutely. And if he fails in his case, and I'm trying to be very cautious here to avoid going too far in either direction. I like to be on the fence about things, right? I like to not put my personal opinion in, although I often fail to do so. If his legal arguments fail, he is convicted, and he needs to liquidize his assets, I will absolutely go and buy some of his stuff. 100%. I don't know how much I'm going to buy, but I'm going to try doing that. If it happens. APR has offered to give me a ride along, so I won't be doing it on a bike. I'm not a motorcycle rider. Nothing against motorcycle riding, but I would take that ride along all day. What do I think of frauditors who antagonize police? I do not support that. Police have a very difficult job. And if you have a problem with the way they're doing it, the correct way of addressing that is not to make them angrier, which will just make them worse, but to address the issues and work out a way where they can get the training that is lacking. If there is training that is lacking, I think that is appropriate. I think people who do cop blocking, I think you're an idiot. Stop doing that. You are walking a very dangerous line, and it is very likely that you will end up being arrested for obstruction. Don't make their job more difficult. If there is an issue, report it through the proper channels and try to make sure they get the training or help that they need. Let me see what else you guys. If you want to investigate stolen valor, check into that blind justice guy. Oh, does he claim to be a veteran? Oh, maybe I'll look into that. We shall see. All right, JP Pavilion, the email you sent. Let me go back through my email so I don't accidentally start talking about the wrong one. Let me just put that pipe there. Oh, you just sent me one. Is this the newest one? Oh yeah, this is the one that Real World Police has just put out. So I'm not going to discuss that right now because I haven't seen it. And I might want to do a stream specifically for that. But yes, Real World Police just put something out about Rainier, his wife. And I've lost where my stream is. There we go. No, Jeremy has not been sending me emails anymore. He made a bunch of claims, and maybe it's true, I don't know, that he wasn't receiving my responses. He got kind of mad at me. And now he's not emailing me anymore. Now, I had APR. I had a couple of the people send him emails being like, look, man, I'm responding to you. I don't know what's happening. But I haven't heard from him. I might send him another email. See what happens. But, I don't know. I do not know. He won't answer my questions about his military service, by the way, which is really what I'm trying to get him to answer. I just want him to acknowledge it, right? Part of the problem is there are a lot of things he's like, oh, I didn't do that, I didn't do that, I didn't do this wrong. This is not a problem. How dare they accuse me of these things? But the evidence is there. Like, we can see that he's doing these things that he's claiming he's not, and we have him saying that he was in the military, and we have established that his claims cannot be true. Whether or not he was in the military, his claims of military service cannot be true mathematically, based on the timeline that it would require in his own personal history. I just want him to acknowledge it and say, yes, I lied. Because we already know, right? We already know enough to get him for stolen valor. We being not me. I'm just reporting on this. But I just want him to just grow some cojones, and just say, yes, I said this thing. It was stupid of me, and I apologize. I don't think he's apologized yet for any of this. I think he said, nope, I'm justified. Screw you guys. Nah. Jeremy, you're innocent until proven guilty. Fine. But I want you to acknowledge that you either did or did not serve in the military. I'll stay calm about it. If you say that you didn't, cool. I just want that respect, right? You are disrespecting every single veteran. How can you do funeral escorts for veterans, for soldiers, when you yourself are committing stolen valor? How dare you? All I want is for you to acknowledge your mistake, and we can move forward. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, is it harassment if you call Jeremy and ask him if he responds to well, he opened up a channel of communication with you. If it would be harassment if he told you to stop and you kept going. That's what I'd say about harassment. But man, pipes are weird. How did they? When they caught on, people liked them. I bet I could get used to it. I mean, if tobacco was in here, I'd be like, yeah, nicotine, right? It's just weird. I'm gonna put this away. I'm just chewing on it. Yes, trial starts September 14th. I'd love to be there for the trial, folks. Whew. Let me tell you. All right, what else we got? I'm gonna go play some video games. And he's probably not gonna answer now. When I called him on stream, he's like, no, call during business hours. So, yeah, it might be best to wait. Because it's, 7:53 in Florida right now? Yeah. Now, I'm not encouraging people to call. Please don't call. It's just that Jay Pavilion has already established communication with him. And last I checked, the Metro State YouTube channel encouraged him to reach out to them. That was from my last stream. So I'm not saying, flood his phones. Please do not do that. That you could be charged with a crime for harassment through electronic communications if you did that. So, Joseph says smoking pipe's great. Now, I'm not going to advocate for smoking, but I bet I could be convinced if I smoked to switch to a pipe. It just seems so weird. And I don't know if it's more or less convenient than like cigarettes. But I bet the nice thing would be you could get your own tobacco, you could choose what you like. I don't know. I am not advocating for smoking. Please don't smoke. It'll kill you. Yeah, do you think they see his badge as evidence? I bet they did. I bet they're going to present that in court and be like, this is Los Angeles. Is it? Yeah, it was Los Angeles, right? It's a Los Angeles police badge. It doesn't say police on it, but the symbol's the same. He's not allowed to use it. Los Angeles has not responded to me, I don't believe, by the way, because I asked them, like, hey, haha, if I used your city seal on a badge, unauthorized, is that okay? And they're like, we'll get back to you, and they haven't. But, you know, coronavirus. I'm sure they're very busy. But anyway, anything else? I'm probably gonna get out of here soon. Feeling a little hungry. Might get my eating on. And I've never streamed to Twitch, folks, so I don't know what I'm doing. So it's really gonna be a test stream. If you guys do want to join me there, if you are feeling ambitious. No. Stop that. No. It's playing things. Just, there we go. Let me see if I can get my Twitch thing. You guys talk amongst yourself. Stop playing that. Boop, 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 boop. Doesn't want me to log in. Well, we'll figure it out. Do I follow the Jeremy DeWitt Facebook page? Occasionally. I pop in there every once in a while. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, if you guys are feeling like joining me on Twitch, I'll probably get some people in my Discord, and we'll talk about DeWitt's newest shenanigans. We'll just have a good time. I believe my Twitch name is just Sergeant Blue Bacon, but now it's not letting me log in, so what do I know? Okay. Yes. Okay, yeah, it is Sergeant Blue Bacon. Mission accomplished. So, I'll be over there, and we'll see what happens. Try streaming. It'll be a great time. Anyway, I feel like that's a good place to end stream. I just want to do a short one today, because I still have to record the audio or I have to re-record audio for the Jeremy DeWitt musical, because I'm doing a real one. I know people are like, yeah, the Jeremy DeWitt musical, the World Police did one. It's not a musical. And besides, I had the idea first, maybe. I had the idea before that video came out, so. Right? All right. Oh, you'd be on Discord lit? Devil 93. All right. Well, I'm going to take the time to figure out how to stream on Twitch. We're going to try to make that happen. See what happens. And I'm out of here. So, till the next time, be good and stay safe. Oh, not 8-bit had a good question. SJT, Blue Bacon. The first one. And so on and so forth. But I digress. And I'm leaving.